Welcome to A Human Perspective, a podcast where I'll be sharing work and personal experiences and learnings. I will also chop it up with guests from time to time who will also share their own perspectives. I can't promise everything you hear on this podcast will always be right, but I can promise to always give you a human perspective. Let's go. I recently stumbled across a Harvard Business Review video called How to Say No at Work. The conversation was fantastically led and demonstrated by Christine Liu, who is innovation editor at HBR. Side note, I love HBR. I was both amazed and uncomfortable with how uncomfortable Christine was saying no. Christine is a super smart woman with solid experience behind her. You'd think this would naturally give her superpowers when it comes to valuing her time and prioritizing her workload. I mean, that is what you are effectively doing when you say no, right? In the video, we see Christine put herself in scenarios where she would have to say no and really struggled. As I watched, I thought, I know a few people like this. So strange. Why can't someone say no, explain why, come up with an alternative solution, and move on with their life without feeling like the worst person in the world? I mean, what exactly is the problem here? Then I asked myself, why do I find this strange, considering the reality that most people find it difficult saying no and pushing back? But I couldn't stop asking myself why. I do believe this happens so widely because of societal conditioning. From a young age, if you are asked to do something by a figure of authority, you are taught saying no is bad or naughty, rude, not nice, or selfish. And then as you get older, this definition expands to you not being a team player, not being a nice colleague, and not being professional. I've made it my business to build my career on the principle of challenging ideas and people. And I expect the same back. This does not mean I'm looking for excuses to not get work done. Ask anyone who worked closely with me. I am far from a lazy person. And I think this has made me understand the difference between doing superficial tasks for the sake of perception and doing real work to get real results. I'm all about the latter. My principle when it comes to challenging people is that my job is to tell the truth and share my opinion. The person I am sharing this with does not need to agree or take it on board, but as a minimum, I expect to be heard. If I am still expected to do something I don't personally agree with, as long as it's not illegal, I'll still do it. But I do it comfortably knowing I have at least told my truth on the matter. As with anything, the first time you do this is scary, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. If you are uncomfortable saying no, meetings are a great playing ground to build up this skill. When the pandemic hit and we shifted to working from home full time, I found myself in Dante's 9 circles of meetings. I was trying so hard to stay connected with everyone whilst trying to continue to do my full-time job that I nearly wiped myself out a couple of times. I found myself sitting in meetings all day, every day, and doing work in the evenings and on weekends. I eventually realized this was not sustainable. I had to pull back and create space so I could get work done. As well as being more rigid about the meetings I was attending, I also scheduled out no meeting blocks in my calendar. This has now additionally evolved to avoiding video calls on Mondays, Slack audio, and phone calls only, please. Implementing Focus Wednesdays within my team. So we have no meetings, we use the day to focus on tasks and get real work done. And trying to keep my Fridays open, so I'm able to close important items before the weekend. I also avoid meetings before 9 a.m. and I do not accept meetings scheduled during my lunch break. Now, this doesn't work perfectly every time, right? So some urgent things will come up that require flexibility, which is fine, as long as I ensure I protect my time most of the time. One thing I love about my current company, Silverfin, is we are proactively trying to find ways to bring back work-life balance to our employees. One of these initiatives is encouraging our team members to push back on the need for meetings. And where a meeting is booked, challenging start and end times, duration, and insisting on an agenda. We're encouraging our team members to have boundaries to protect themselves. No one will know your boundaries, understand your workload, or be able to empathize with your reality if you don't speak up. Your job is not simply to say, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Your job is to ensure you protect yourself so you are able to do your best work. Expecting others to do this for you is simply not realistic. I proactively push back on meetings. I want to be clear. Pushing back is never easy, but we need to get rid of the notion that being compliant makes you a great employee. From what I've seen, it actually has a negative impact on the quality of work one is able to do. So if you are a true believer in quality over quantity, just say no. Don't over-apologize and don't over-explain. This is a defensive position and you'll end up talking yourself into doing the task. So I have a quick flash challenge for you. Wherever you are right now, stand up if you're not already and say no. Go on. It'll be fun. Thanks for taking the time to listen to my human perspective. I highly recommend you watch the HBR video. I'll put the link in the description for you, and I'll see you in the next podcast.